We all need to get out of our own way. That is the biggest piece of advice that I could give your listeners. Get out of your own fucking way and stop making a roadblock for yourself.
We want to blame everybody else, but really, it's ourselves.
Right.
We are responsible. We have a choice. In the rooms we show up, in what dreams, how big we want to dream, go for it.
Right. One of the most common excuses is, I don't have the time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. If I kept telling myself, I don't have the time, I don't have the resources, I can't do this, we all can. You can do whatever you want to do. And you have women around you, people around you that will support you. You just have to find that room.
Hi, this is Reet from Reignite with Reet. I'm sitting here with Amy Bartko from Chatterbox PR. I'm so excited to have her, and we're going to just get into it. Talk about life, entrepreneurship, motherhood, and the journey of being a woman in this world that is just really feels expansive and also chaotic right now. And I'm looking forward to just getting into it. So welcome, Amy.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you. I feel like the timing is right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do too. We're coming off a really big event we've all attended, Powerhouse Women. I'm here in Scottsdale, and Lindsay Marie puts it on every year. And we got to be together at this space. And so 3 days of being poured into, surrounded by 600 women, is quite the energy.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Right?
And it's powerful, right? To be in a room like that with all these women that are in so many different stages in life, and their entrepreneur journey and all of the things. So, yeah, it's a powerful experience.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to just kind of start. I'm really excited to learn more about your business, to just start it. And I'm going to start what was the point in like the discomfort or something in your life that made you feel like you needed to create something? Like, was there a challenge, a roadblock, or a lack, or a desperation? What did Chatterbox birth out of?
I love this question because it really is, it's a whole journey, right? I have an 18-year-old, and so when I had him, I was in medical sales, and I was gone from my home like from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day, which were his waking hours, other than his naps. So I did not have that quality time with my son, and I knew that there had to be something better, some more work-life balance. Because working for corporate, I realized, a while ago, because I was on bed rest with him, and I was a number to them. I wasn't Amy. I wasn't this new mom. I wasn't this, President Club winner, consistently. I was this number. And I knew there had to be something better out there. So I started in PR. I actually, I quit my job. Like, my husband at the time, I'm now divorced, but I literally, he was on a trip with a friend of his, and I quit my job, like, while he was gone, and he came home to me. He came home to me saying that, yep, I quit. I just can't do that anymore. And so I did. I started just dabbling into PR, and I originally partnered with somebody And then I decided to dissolve that partnership. I wanted to just do my own thing. And when I had my second son, that's when I started Chatterbox. And it by far is the best thing that I've ever done. Having that balance of my schedule, and that control of my own schedule. And I'm not a number, right?
Nope.
I work for myself. I have clients that I love working with. And I pick my son up from school every single day and take him to school every single day. And I'm even like the room mom. So I have the best of both worlds that I just love.
I can so relate. I don't have an 18-year-old, I have an 8-year-old. And leaving corporate myself because I couldn't get pregnant because of the stress of that world. I was a number, and they give you a cell phone and they own you. 1 in the morning, doesn't matter. I was an executive to the owner, billionaire of the company. So having private jets, I had to ensure his flight plan, all the manifests, and his car service was ready at 1 or 2 whenever he landed. And I was wondering, now I know in retrospect, almost a decade having left that world, to pivot and saying, hey, it's not worth it. And believe me, when they tried to throw money at me after to like bring me in, promise me all the things, and I was like, in 6 months, I'm going to hate my life, and no amount of money will make it worth that I just sold myself out.
Yeah.
It's a long journey back home, and that freedom, there's no price.
None. Absolutely not. And the thing is when you're a mom, when you're a mom, it happens so fast. So I just moved my son into college yesterday. So I'm feeling all the feels, and I have my 12-year-old at home, and he's feeling all the feels. I mean, it's like emotionally hitting us because it really is just the three of us, right? Because I am divorced now and have been. Best decision ever, right? Other than leaving corporate. But it goes by so fast. And, I mean, somebody said yesterday or at the event, because I was at the event all weekend with you.
Yeah.
And I woke up at the hotel on Sunday morning at 5 a.m., went to go move my son into college. And then when he was, and I told myself, I'm just giving myself grace, to move him in. And if I'm able to make it back, for the panel that I wanted to make it back for, which it was the Expanders panel, to see all of my, besties, business besties up on stage with Lindsay, then I would allow myself to do that. And it was funny because I made it back like right when the panel was starting. And I knew that because I had people texting me. So I knew my timing was on. But it was really strange driving away, yeah, it was really strange driving away from the dorm room. I only live 15 minutes away.
It doesn't matter, though.
It doesn't matter.
It's an end to a chapter and a beginning, and nobody prepares you as a mother.
Nobody prepares you.
You don't. You can't be even prepared, even if there was a manual, what is going to be ripped open in your heart.
Right. And somebody said, I can't remember, it was this weekend, they said you only have 18 Christmases and 18 summers. with your children. And that is like one of the most powerful statements, because it's so true and you don't realize that. So corporate, who's going to not value your time, but they have more value in, and we're business owners, so I get it. You and I, we run our business, but I'm not a number. I, am so much more than that. I am a mom. I'm a friend. I have my business besties. I also have, this beautiful business that I've built that my clients, really look to me to help them with their visibility. So I have it all, and I'm super proud of where I am today.
As you should be. As a woman in entrepreneurship, I'm fairly new to this world, but to have succeeded, and it's not made easy for us. That's for sure.
Oh, girl.
And I'm coming into 2025, right? And I can't imagine the women that held the lantern for me. And that's what this weekend I saw. I'm like, in that room, all of you, just the love you pour back into new women coming into the circles and saying yes. And I've had that several times this weekend, saying I always say yes to women. And the release that I felt, because we were pinned against each other for so long that we were fighting for some same position when that was never really true. It was an illusion that keep us pinned against so they can control us and make us lose our power.
Right.
But I think we're changing that. We've changed that narrative already.
Absolutely. It's interesting that you say that, because I feel like if you put yourself in rooms and communities with the right group of women, there is not that, competitiveness. It's, everyone builds each other up, and it's more about how can I support you? Where if there are rooms of women that's not the case. It's, I'm not going to give you room, time, energy, because what are you going to be taking away from me?
Right.
And me, I even with, my PR business, some of my, great friends are other publicists. And it's funny because I had a client say, me and a publicist friend of mine, that actually, when I was in, I do a lot of baby and kid products. And she also circles around in this space, this friend of mine. We travel to trade shows together. We room together, all the things. And one of my clients is like, how can you do that? And I'm like, I don't need to do PR for all of these people. I don't want to do PR for all of these people. I'm very selective in who I partner with, take on as clients. But for me, it's like, why not? Why not be, friends, besties with other publicists? Because
you're learning and growing together.
Absolutely.
And you also, that shows awareness and growth and maturity, and that the clientele that you want. And we know as business owners, not every client is equal. And if they can be energy sucking and draining, and that's okay for some people. I think when you've done work and you've been in industries for a long time, you have that awareness that not every client is your client.
Yeah.
And there's enough for everybody. There's 9 billion people in the world, and businesses everywhere, products, innovations every day. So to have that small-minded thinking that we're against each other. I think it just shows that the people that are doing the work, and when I say the work, like that inner work of, it's really not a competition. When you're in your own lane, you're not threatened by another woman. When you're in your own body and you're own powered and you're certain, you're not threatened by competition. You take it as like a compliment, being like my clients, I know my clients that are meant for me.
Right. Absolutely. I feel like we have, as women,
Yeah.
you know, it is important to build each other up and not tear each other down.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, if somebody, if somebody reaches out to me and, you know, is looking for a journalist, you know, email or, you know, a contact at Good Morning America, yeah, sure, I'll give you, you know, a responsive contact. It's just who I am, right? Because I feel the support, because you get it in return, right? It's all the pay it forward.
Yeah.
You know, when you're like in the Starbucks line and the car in front of you pays for
I
your
love
drink,
that.
and you're just like, oh, thank you. You know, I
Yeah.
feel so seen today. That was
Yeah.
like the most beautiful thing. It's just to pay it
You
forward.
recognize the humanity on this earth because really, we're all just having a human experience.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what the heck we're doing. We're figuring it out. Every single day you have to choose, right?
Yes, you do.
Was there a time when in this industry I can feel it being kind of cutthroat, and what was that like coming up in this industry for you?
So when I started in this space, I was invited to be like business partners with this woman. That was super cutthroat. She was, and I ended up dissolving it, you know, dissolving the partnership because it was not, the feelings were not good. It was not a good, you know, space to be in. And it's just not who I am. You know, I don't know how familiar you are with the Enneagrams.
A
A
little bit,
little,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I'm a 7, which I'm, you know, the enthusiastic visionary. So I like naturally, it's within my nature to just be friends and be, you know, supportive of everyone, and not, you know, super competitive. So I feel like that was probably when I realized that that partnership was not for me.
I think though it's an opportunity. We learn, if I believe in energy and I believe we
Yeah.
choose lessons in life,
Right.
and either we repeat them or we dissolve it and say, I've learned my lesson, thank you, I'm gonna move on to my next lesson.
Right. Well, and the great thing about it is I had so many beautiful takeaways from that. You know, I've always been in marketing, but it introduced me to the PR world.
They
It
go hand in
also,
hand, right?
right, it really is, right? It is the same thing. It introduced me to the PR world, but it also introduced me to the baby and kids space. It also showed me how I did not want to run my business and my partnerships. You know, and what I felt like I wanted to do for my clients and how I wanted to partner with my clients. Because when you enter a PR, you know, partnership, it really is a partnership. It's a team. You work with the brands to help gain them the visibility that they're looking for so they can earn the credibility that they need
Right.
to be successful.
Yeah.
And it takes a partnership to accomplish that because it's more than just getting your brand mentioned in Forbes magazine or, you know, Vogue. There's so many other steps that have to be taken after that.
Relationships.
Yes.
I think that has been a takeaway and a thread that's weaved through that I've become aware of. I'm like, No matter what industry you're in, life is about connecting and building relationships.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what industry, if you can get that message honed in and realize like you're not gonna get further ahead on your own, it's gonna be very difficult.
Yeah.
And the sooner you can get on that train of being like, all right, let's get in together, connect, and see if we can elevate each other.
Yeah.
You're strong at this, I'm strong at this. Okay, what can I do to make your life easier? Not, unfortunately, not everybody sees that or hasn't got to that point where they've gotten so uncomfortable with themselves that they've had to do the inner work and realize, whether it's in marriage, whether it's you're a mom, whether you're an entrepreneur or an employee, you have to get along with people.
Mm-hmm. That's my zone of genius, is relationships. It's funny because I used to not talk about what I do, just because what I do is, I used to feel like people, would judge me, feel like I was, being boastful.
Really? Okay.
Right, because I used to just say, oh, I do PR. Steph knows. She's been in that room with me, but she's also been in this new room with me where I have taken what I, do, and shared it like in a more confident way,
Yeah.
because what and this goes to the relationships that you were just talking about, because it is my zone of genius. I work with celebrities. I place product on television and movies. I get brands featured in top tier media. And the reason why I'm able to do that is because of the relationships that I build. That is by far the most important thing to me, is, I build relationships with editors, with journalists, with, celebrities, influencers. I've been doing influencer marketing before influencer marketing was even a thing. I swear I should get royalties because I have been doing it for 18 years. And uh, it's all because of relationships.
You're building trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
For someone to put their brand, their life, their story in your hands, to now go like market and like relay it to media. You're responsible for forming that image and how it translates and how it shows up.
Yeah.
It's a huge responsibility, and it's all trust.
All trust. All trust. I mean, I have more people's bra and underwear size that right,
Yeah.
and home addresses.
Yeah.
That trust. It's trust.
And you also get visibility in behind the scenes. Let's really get really into it, because when people trust you, they can let their guard down. They're more raw, they're vulnerable, that you get to see a version that the medias may not get to see.
Right.
And it's a huge responsibility to be like, whoa, I have a lot of information. What am I going to do with it? And it goes to show the caliber of person and the integrity you have by how you deliver that, right?
Yeah.
It's connection.
Well, and it's funny because I just said that, I used to tell people that I used to not tell people what I do, right? Because I thought that, they would judge me. But what I do, it's not what defines me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not who I am. It doesn't make me who I am. It is just what I do. It's what I'm good at, but it literally is just what I do. And just because I know that information, I do not feel like I'm more powerful. I do not feel like I'm, it's just what I do.
Have you felt like, I think when you said I used to not tell people what I do. I think the first thing that came to my mind was maybe a little bit of lack of being guarded from not being able, am I going to be used for what I do? Have you ever felt that?
Um,
Like, here's somebody that wants to kind of be visible and manipulate, and or have you experienced that?
it's interesting. No, I feel like I felt like it was more of the fact that people would judge me, like, oh, who does she think she is, type of thing. Not like, oh, she's gotten product in Kim Kardashian and Kate Hudson's hands, and all of these people. How can I benefit from that? I never thought that. I never felt that. It was more about people would just judge me. And there are people that have and pulled away from me. But those aren't my people, right?
No. And you learned through that, right?
Yeah.
And how much of do you think it was sometimes our own growth and insecurity, right?
Yeah.
Not allowing yourself to shine, that this magical unicorn that you are, this gift that you have. Why do we feel as women we need to hide that?
Because we don't want to be judged.
Right.
Yeah, because we don't. I mean,
Or take up space.
right. Historically, I was literally just going to say that, because historically, women are told to be seen and not heard. You're not visible. I mean, I remember my stepdad used to, my mom and him are no longer married, but he used to shush my mom. If she would talk, I mean, she like literally wasn't allowed to talk. And I was raised around that, and I thought it was awful. But it's so true, and how women for, centuries have been treated.
Yeah. And I can totally agree. I was raised to be seen, not heard. So why do you think I'm saying again, coming back to energy, our throat chakras, so many women struggle with using their voice? I think we are navigating change in real time right now. However, it's really painful and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To shed that old programming and step into the power and saying, I do get to take up space. I'm worthy. I have a really important voice and message. I'm here in this human experience.
Right.
Yeah. I truly believe our generation is changing the landscape. Our parents weren't able to. Like you said, your mom, my mom, they were told what to do and be submissive. And there just wasn't the women for them to lift them up.
Right.
We are doing it I have a daughter. I am constantly apologizing to her because I've said this many times on my podcast. There is no manual. I'm parenting myself at the same time as I'm parenting her. There's a little girl inside of me that sometimes comes out angry, or sometimes comes out hurt, or doesn't even know what's what, or how am I supposed to do this next part.
Right.
And you make a mistake, and all I've learned is own it, take responsibility, and apologize. And I do that in like all of my life, whether it's my marriage, my motherhood, or a friend. I think that's what I'm seeing different in the landscape, that with the women I surround myself. And that's, our environments are so important.
It's so important because yeah, who you surround yourself with, is so important, because you want to surround yourself around people that build you up, not tear you down. And you want to surround yourself with people that, give you the good feelings, and, say, if you're having a rough day, that person that you can call and just be like, ugh, I just need to erase the day, and then they offer you some positive, encouragement. I think that you had said, it's our generation that is changing the landscape of, women. That's so true. And I also feel like it's the women that we surround ourselves with, because still, I mean, not all of them are like this. No. Not all of them are going to, just smudge me with Palo Santo because I need a good cleanse, and not look at me like I'm fucking crazy.
Nope.
Oh, can I cuss on this?
Absolutely. Oh, I cuss a lot. Steph said, "Oh, you have such a soft voice. I'm going to turn it up." I was like, "If you only hear me at home." I was like, "My family doesn't think so."
Oh my gosh, I love that. But yeah, I feel like, so it is, we need to do that for each other.
Where did you find your tribe? Like, how did you, like, I know the women you surround yourself with now.
Yeah, yeah.
At what point did you realize, like, I've had many conversations with women, they just got to a point in their life, they're like, I didn't fit in that world anymore.
Yeah.
Did you have a time like that?
Yeah. Yes. Community has been a very common conversation, over the past couple of weeks. And when I had my kids, I had, the mom community. Mm-hmm. And I felt like the mom community, that was where I needed to be. Yeah. But I aged out of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not only did my kids age out of it, I aged out of it, because then, I started my business and I searched for community, but I had a different group of mom friends, but I couldn't talk about what I did. I don't mean to, say it again, but, I felt like
Please.
People, I felt like I couldn't talk about what I did because I didn't feel like they understood me. Mm-hmm. So I was craving just a different type of community. And a few years ago, I actually was at an event and she became my business mentor, and I was in her mastermind program, Rebecca Cafiero. I met her a few years ago and entered her world, which she introduced me to this whole different community of entrepreneur women that, what we're talking about, these women that build you up. Yeah. And I think that when you find those communities, and they seem to all be connected in all of these different ways. Little did I know there were, different branches of Rebecca's world that led into Lindsay Marie's world and Lori Harder's world. And so I started embracing, those communities as well. And I have never felt so seen and supported and appreciated, and being able to say what I do and people going, fuck yeah, you do. Not like, you do? Okay, you're too much. You know?
Yeah.
So I love that about these entrepreneurial communities.
The conversation hits different.
It does. It does.
You feel leaving nourished, not drained.
Yes.
You're not judging and gossiping about people. You are lifting people up. You're sharing your wins. You're celebrating your wins. You're talking about some struggles or challenges that you feel safe to ask for help.
Yes.
You feel safe to really step into your power.
Absolutely. You feel safe to ask the question, how did you scale your business? How did you make your first million? Yeah. And have them sit down and go, let me tell you. And, this is what I did. This is how I got there. And if you would ever like to have a conversation about it, let's go.
And not a gatekeep.
Nope.
They are like happy, and it's not a pitch, it's not a salesperson. They are really on the top of their mountain, lifting you up so you can be on top of yours. And there's room on
Right.
top of all the damn mountains, because we have our own. You're not trying to climb somebody else's.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you don't have that ick factor.
Right.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, there are some rooms that, give you that ick factor because it does feel really salesy. You know, you feel like, okay, what are we doing here? Yeah.
I think, having been here together this weekend, that was one of the most powerful things I left with. I had a moment where being like, I don't know if I want to go. I'm just not in a space where I want to be pitched to, told what I need next, buy this, and you need fixing, you need healing. And I was like, I'm not fucking broken. You know what I need? I need community. I need connection. I need to be able to show up as all of me and be accepted and held. And that's what I felt. And I knew I was in the right space and allowed to feel all of the emotions.
Yes.
And uncertainty, being like, I'm not sure where I am on this scale, but I see myself up there.
Yeah.
And I don't feel limited to that. And that's the power of women like yourself. I want to make sure, like, the women listening to this know there's communities that will give you that feeling and hold you, that don't want something from you. Yes, we exchange. Like, that is life. We have exchanges in life. Like, I want to support you in what you're doing, get the word out. If somebody needs PR, like, this is your girl, Amy, right here. And
Thank you.
you had never even, like, blinked when I asked you, because being a podcaster, I was like, the most intimidating part was for me to get out of my own way and say, believe that women weren't going to say no. And the women that did say no weren't my women.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So true. And we all need to get out of our own way.
Yeah.
That is the biggest piece of, advice that I could give your listeners, absolutely. Get out of your own fucking way
Yeah.
and stop making a roadblock for yourself.
We want to blame everybody else, but really, it's ourselves.
Right.
We are responsible. We have a choice. In the rooms we show up, in what dreams, how big we want to dream, go for it.
Right. Well, and one of the most common excuses is, I don't have the time. I don't have the resources. Well, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, so I get time limited. But if I would have never have up and quit my job, literally just cold turkey, started, Chatterbox, if I kept telling myself, I don't have the time, I don't have the resources, I can't do this, we all can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all can do that. You can do whatever you want to do. And you have women around you, people around you that will support you. You just have to find that room.
And leave the ones that are not yours anymore.
Right. If you've aged out of that community, if you've aged out of that friendship, it's okay.
Yeah. We're meant to.
We are. It's the growth. And I give you full permission to, take a look at it and realize, is this for me? Ask yourself, is this for me? Is this partnership, relationship, is this mom group for me anymore? Have I aged out of it?
That's powerful, 'Cause sometimes we just are on autopilot and spinning, not knowing. But there's something to be said about just taking a pause and being like, is this for me?
Yeah, I did that with my marriage. After 18 years of being married. Yeah, 20 years of being together. I was like, yeah, this is not for me anymore. I can't do this.
And that's okay.
It is okay.
If there's a woman sitting out there, whether it be in marriage, on the cusp of having an idea she wants to birth, or needing to hire a PR agency, or what's your advice to that woman sitting there on the cusp of feeling like scared or uncertain? And is there a little nugget you can give her of wisdom?
We're all scared, we're all uncertain. And I'm not going to sit here and say that you will never be scared, you will never be uncertain. If you're feeling scared, it's probably, time to take a deep breath. And you feel those feelings because it is time to make that next step. It is time to, step into your own. I was scared as fuck to leave my marriage. I was. Because I used to tell myself, the grass isn't greener on the other side. I thought for a second, for like literally 1 second, will I regret this in 2 years? And the answer is no. I do not regret my decision in leaving my marriage. And it's interesting because obviously he's still in my life because we have children together. He's still in my children's lives, and he, has to be part of my life. But when I do see him, or when I have to communicate with him, the answer is still, I made the best decision I could have ever have made. So whether that decision is with starting your own business, aging out of a group of, community, and searching for the community that aligns more with where you're at, or starting your own business, take that leap. Bet on yourself because you're worth it.
Yeah. You don't want to be the woman at 70, 80 in your bed regretting what you never did and wish I had done it.
Yes.
Why not do it, fail, learn, pivot, find out what you're made of?
I just got chills, girl. Yes. Wow.
I think like attracts like. I'm sitting here surrounded by women that inspire me, but I feel worthy of in the same room. I belong here.
Right?
And when you get in those rooms, you remember who you are, what you came here to do.
It's so true.
It is emotional, right? We've had a big weekend, and it's okay to dream a bigger dream. It's okay to take a pause and say, okay, let me lean into it, but I just need to make sure my body's ready. It's okay. That's how I feel. I feel like I was sharing earlier. I said I'm in this transition of expansion, but our nervous system gets rattled and clings onto old stories. And in real time, I'm rewriting it. I'm doing it scared. I'm doing it frustrated. I'm doing it angry. I'm doing it with trauma wounds and healing my scars. And I'm doing it holding myself. Because ultimately, the main character energy is yours in your own story.
Oh my gosh. I love the way you just said all of that. And it's so true. You write your own story, right?
And you got to bring your own spice, your own sauce, like your own uniqueness, because the world more than ever needs that. Right? Before we tried to be uniformed and conformed into, well, we all got to look like Barbie. We all got to look like a different version of this iteration. And we're breaking that in real time. And every woman that stands up and becomes the CEO of her own life, her own business, or takes autonomy of her body and her choice. And that's the thing that's powerful. We all have a choice. Even when we think we don't or we're in a corner, whether it's a marriage or motherhood or corporate job that you've been working for 20 years.
Yeah. And it's powerful, right? And we have to take back our power. You know, as women, we give up our power so much, so often in different relationships. And if you just take back that power, take deep breaths, you know, regulate your nervous system. You own your power.
Yeah.
And if you have control over your power, you'll feel like a million times better.
If you don't outsource your power, you're going to know an energetic alignment, and it's literally like you're building your nervous system in real time because you're not outsourcing it to somebody else.
Right.
And I'm going to like take that opportunity to kind of pivot as we come to a close, but I know you offer a mentorship, and I know if women in a way, like if there's a woman that wants to work in PR and want to own her power, wants to kind of explore and to be able to work with a powerhouse CEO like you, what do you offer?
So it's funny because Melissa,
Yeah.
I know.
A mutual friend of ours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a mutual friend of ours. I adore her. And I actually I've trained brands, you know, how to do their own PR internally. But helping other women that have a passion for PR is something new that I offered for Melissa. So that definitely is something that I enjoy doing, teaching people how to do what I do. Because it kind of, you know, this brings us full circle, right, to where we started with the conversation. You know, I don't want to build an empire. You know, I want to build, you know, this great work-life balance and being, you know, friends with other people in my space, teaching people how to do what I do. It's beautiful because everyone can do it. And it really is just this, the visibility, the credibility, and, you know, just teaching how to tap into that. It's fun.
And that's, we do. We need women to mentor other women because that's creating the next wave of change, right? Teaching our daughters that community matters, being kind to that other girl. She's not your competition. She's a sister.
Yep.
And treat her as so, respect her as so, respect her as you respect yourself.
Yeah.
And take up space in this world.
Yeah.
Show up in the rooms and hold yourself to a higher standard, that your standards, you set that standard, nobody else for you. Know your value in this world. And I think you're a true embodiment of that, and a reflection of sharing that, you know, we can go through struggles, but continue to grow, evolve, change. And I love that for you.
Thank you.
And I want to just say thank you so much for coming and being vulnerable. You're in a transition. Being an empty nester is not an easy transition.
Well, I still have my 12-year-old at home.
Yeah. One out of two.
Yeah, yeah. So I have an only child now. I'm half empty nester. Yeah, so this has been great, and I know I'm feeling all the feels and like emotional today.
But I kind of actually really appreciate that, because we hide behind closed doors and feel all our feels. And I think it's a true, like, authenticity is this is what it is. Life, I'm done crying behind in my closet. I don't feel we've been programmed to believe, oh, women are just so emotional. Life is emotional. It's how we regulate and we show up for yourself or others, and it's okay.
So this just came to mind when you just said that women are so emotional. In the corporate world, you have women presidents,
Yep.
right? But you also have more men presidents. Because God forbid if, a woman is on her period or,
Right.
sends her son off to college and starts crying at her desk because it's emotional.
Yep.
And she spent the morning with her 12-year-old, crying because he misses his brother. Right? So it's okay to be like that. We are judged for so many reasons by men.
Yeah.
And in that space, because God forbid we have a moment of vulnerability.
Yeah. And, I remember being told, never let them see you cry. Take
Fuck
it home, lock it up. And I'm so grateful a decade ago I made the choice and being like, I'm going to have the full spectrum.
Right?
I'm going to tell you off, and then I'll probably go cry. but I had the guts to tell you off.
Right?
Oh,
right?
my gosh.
Yeah, if you need to cry, if you need community,
Need a hug?
You need a hug.
I got
if you need to be smudged with Palo Santo,
you want tissue? You want water? Hey,
ask your
I'll
girls.
hold your hair if you're not feeling well. I think that's just who I've been, and I've finally come into my people here on where I live and around the world. When you become truly aligned with yourself, you draw the women that need to be in your life.
So true.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's no more. You also know very quickly who's not at your vibration.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Your frequency.
Yeah.
Your frequency is rising.
Yeah.
And the people, there are people that are not going to rise with your frequency.
No.
That's okay.
Yeah. There's no judgment. Like, I'm not going to keep myself small and not grow if you're on a different trajectory.
Yeah.
I've definitely learned that a lot in the last 5-6 years, and saying it's okay to go on different paths. I'm not going to drop down so I stay small to make you feel comfortable. I'm going to continue to dream big and keep going.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This has been so good, Amy. Thank you so much. And if women, companies, whoever's listening needs to find you, where do we find you?
Instagram is a good place. We'll drop the link
in
into the show notes,
Yeah.
but it's Amy Bartko. And then I'm also on LinkedIn, and my Chatterbox Brands is the name, or that's my website, but it's Chatterbox PR and Marketing.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for holding space for me today.
I think it was needed, and you were the first one meant to be, because I was in my own energetics of being like, oh, I'm a little nervous, but I feel so good about this, and I'm feeling kind of exposed and raw with all like the fire hose of women that came and shared. So I'm just really, really proud and ecstatic that we both got to do this.
Thank you.